Brenda Vaccaro has delighted fans for well over a half a century with her sparkling personality. In 1969, she lit up the big screen in Midnight Cowboy opposite Jon Voight. That role helped make her a star. I had the honor and privilege to interview Brenda about her life and her career. I found her to be fun, charismatic, outgoing, and often funny. As a fan, watching Brenda in movies and on television, I always felt drawn to her character. But after getting to know her personally, I can honestly say that not only is she genuine with a beautiful spirit, but her laughter, smile, and energy are infectious. She is one of the most beloved stars in the business. I truly enjoyed the time I spent talking with her. I hope you do too.
I've just had the best time ever. I'm joyous about my life.
Hi, and welcome to Remember This. I'm your host, Denise Boland. I'm so honored and excited to have with me Emmy Award winning TV, stage, and film star Brenda Vaccaro. Brenda, thank you so much for joining me today.
I'm glad to do it. This is fun. Glad to be here.
So, you could go to Wikipedia and find out about everybody. So I said, let me try something different. I'm going to ask Alexa about you. Is that okay?
I don't know if it's okay or not, but I don't even know this person.
This is Alexa.
If she knows more than I do, we're in trouble.
Let's see what Alexa says. Let's see what Alexa says about you. Alexa, can you tell me all about Brenda Vaccaro?
Brenda Buell Vaccaro was born in Wyckoff Heights Hospital on November 18th.
Oh, stop it.
She is an award-winning American stage, television, and film actress. She is best known for her super sultry husky voice in Boy, Can She Sell Tampons?
That's just great. This really starts off the day with me. This is great.
Yeah, that was me lightening the mood. So
yeah, right.
Apparently you could
really
program her.
Up, babe. Let me tell you a story about that.
Yes, please.
I was in New York and my agent said to me, there's no way you're going to turn this down. I said, what? They've offered you a tampon commercial. I went, huh? Say that again real slow. She said, they've offered you a tampon commercial. And I said, on the air? Radio? No. Where? She said, television. Ay, my mother's going to have a heart attack. I said, you can't be serious. She said, yes, and they're offering you a lot of money, so there's no way you can say no. Oh, yes, there is. She said, no, there isn't any way, Brenda. This is a lot of money. This is more money than you'll ever make in your career. I said, thanks a lot. I said, what do they expect me to do? They want you to sell the tampon, extra layered design. And I went, oh, this is terrible. I'm really depressed. She said, no, maybe it'll be interesting. Who knows? They're really great people. It's a very famous advertising agency. Anyway, I'm thinking and going crazy, saying, how am I going to do this? I can't take this money. I can't do this. And I called Gail Parent, who wrote Sheila Levine is Dead and Living in New York. And she wrote for Carol Burnett and everybody else. She's like a slow Dorothy Parker, At her party for Christmas, she had a ring on that was a marquee cut. And she showed it to me. She said, what do you think of my ring? Larry gave it to me for Christmas. I said, I think it's great, Gail. God, that's beautiful. So big. I would have rather had a pool. Well, already that's the best line in the whole year that I'd heard anyway.
That's great.
So I knew she was going to come up with something. So I go over to her house and I say, Gail, I got this big problem. I said, I'm going to do this commercial for tampons. Uh-huh. I said, you got to come up with a commercial. You got to come up with something innovative, something that's just going to knock everybody's socks off. We got to win a Chloe with this. She said, oh, a Chloe. I said, yeah, a Chloe. It's an award. It's the award they give. Uh-huh. She couldn't have cared less. Anyway, it comes up like 2 or 3 days later that she wants me to come over to her house. And so I go over to her house and she goes, so anyway, these people came to me and they said they had double layered design, a lot of absorbency, and it was nice smelling and it was good. It lasted a long time. And they kept going on and on. And I said to myself, I thought it was a bra. That is the best. I couldn't wait to go to New York. On my way on Madison Avenue, I stopped with people, men, and I did it for them. I thought it was a bra, and everybody laughed. So I thought, this is it. We're in like Flynn. So I go into the office. There's about 6 guys with crew cuts. They look like ex-Marines sitting there like this. They're not too happy. They've been waiting, I guess. I don't know. And I sit down. I said, I'd just like to do this for you. They said, yeah, we heard. We heard. I said, well, I think it's innovative. I think we'll win a Chloe. It's funny. And I think it'll catch every guy by surprise and make him laugh. And I'll do it for you. So I did it. And afterwards they said,
They didn't laugh.
They didn't laugh. They didn't like it. They just said, don't tell us how to sell sticks. I thought, I got to get out of here. I got to get out of here. And then they said, I said to them, which is, I don't know where I heard it or why I thought it was a good thing to say, but I said, I'd like to shoot it both ways. And I said that to John Schlesinger when we were doing Midnight Cowboy. He said, I beg your pardon. I said, I'd like to shoot it 2 ways. I don't know where I heard it. Must have been in a book. I don't know. Anyway, they kind of acquiesced. And Adam Hollander, who was the cinematographer on Midnight Cowboy, was asked to do this with me. And he used to call me Pushu. And he said, Pushu, what are you doing? You're doing something outrageous, I hear. I said, maybe it'll win a Chloe. I had this Chloe thing in my head,
Right,
you know?
right.
And so I did it. And sure enough, they shot it both ways. And of course they didn't pick it.
No.
You know, of course, well, it was way too early. Now, today, Saturday Night Live, this wouldn't be rasty enough. You know, I
It's
mean,
true. Come a long
things have
way.
changed. Things have changed indeed. You know,
Yes.
but anyway, I took my shot and I tried. I was before my time, and so was Gail.
When was
I'll
the last
never
time you
forget.
saw that commercial?
What's that?
When was the last time you saw the commercial?
When Andrea Martin, that comic, she does it, and I was smoking at the time, and so she imitates me, and she was with SCTV. Remember her? She's brilliant.
I do. I have the video. I don't know if you want to see
Hi,
it.
I'm Brenda Vaccaro.
Yes, the
And I just
breathing.
want to say that and I thought.
Only Playtex tampons have a double layer design. I like that. And Playtex knows we're not all the same or want the same kind of tampons, so you can choose the one that's right for you. I like that too. And I like knowing you just can't buy a better tampon protection than Playtex tampons or Playtex deodorant tampons. And that's the truth. Playtex, a name I can count on, and so can you.
I'm Brenda Vaccaro. I'd like to speak to you about something that means a great deal to me. Protection. Feminine protection. And I like that. Personally, I need something that I can count on. So,
Cut, Brenda. That was terrific. Just 1 sec. Who's on sound? Can we do something about that breathing? She sounds like a seal in heat. I don't know, put a filter on it or something. Okay,
So I went to this thing last year, or maybe a year before that, and it was the Christmas Carol with George C. Scott's son, Campbell Scott. And all of a sudden, the beginning of the play is everybody walking down the aisles, offering you an apple, offering you an orange. It was Christmas time. And so all of a sudden, this girl comes up to me with this long cape on from the 1800s, right? And she comes in, she said, would you like an apple? Oh, and I looked at her, I said, Andrea? She said, yes. I said, oh, I'm so glad to see you. How are you?
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Can't thank you enough for the, well, she literally went down like this to her waist and said, I can't do this. They'll fire me. I got to get out of here. She was laughing so hard. Thank you for stopping by. So that's my story about
That's hysterical.
and it wasn't
Oh,
too
that
kind
makes
on my
sense.
vocal cords. So it would be like, I want to tell you about these. That's an exaggerated capture of what I must have sounded like to a brilliant comedian like Andrea Martin.
Right.
It was an amazing experience, but God damn it, I tried.
Yes, you did. You were amazing. You
And
were
guys
amazing.
on the street of Madison Avenue, I'd say, I do one thing, show you one thing. Oh yeah, aren't you Brenda? Yeah. I said, could you just take your briefcase and wait a minute and listen to this? And they'd laugh. So I thought, okay, I got 4 laughs. That means we're on our way here. I tried. I really tried.
Great. That's great. So I heard that you don't smoke anymore because of Johnny Cash. He sent you to a church or something. Is that true?
No.
No. Oh, did you go
No,
to
but
some church?
he told me what church he went to. The church
Oh, okay.
was it a special religion? Church of
Seventh-day
Christ.
Adventist?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. And he said they helped him stop smoking. I think they helped him do a lot more than smoking. I think he knew how to hit the bottle, this toots. And I just loved him, though. I had the best time with him. Oh, God, I loved him. What a great
Aw.
guy he was. What a great guy. He was amazing. He used
You
to make
acted
popcorn
alongside.
in his trailer
Really?
with June present at all times.
Oh,
But he was a great gentleman. I really liked him. But he said he gave up everything. And what was that church you mentioned?
Seventh-day Adventist?
How do you know about that church? That's interesting.
I know. I heard.
Everybody but me know about that.
I heard
church.
it in one of your interviews. You mentioned it.
Oh, did I? Oh,
Yeah,
good.
you was telling
Okay.
somebody about it. Yeah.
Okay, that day when I remembered better. All right. Yeah.
I have
Johnny
those
gave
days.
it up. I had no intentions of giving it up at that time.
Yeah.
A cigarette, a Benson and Hedges was everything. Did you smoke?
I did.
And what did you smoke?
I
Besides
smoked.
grass and everything else.
Wow. I started with the Virginia Slims. Remember those long
Oh
skinny
yeah, no, I
Virginia
know.
Slims?
Was hardly anything in there to give
Then
you a
it-
proper kick.
Exactly. Then it wasn't enough. Then I think I went to like Marlboro Lights or Parliament Lights. Yeah. I worked
Yeah,
my way
right,
around.
right. We were
Yeah.
all trying to sneak out of saying we were smoking with the light bit, you know?
Exactly.
But it got to a point where my husband had my mother and I outside of the house smoking because he wasn't a smoker. So every room he would say, no kitchen. Oh, okay. We'd hobble into the dining room. No dining room. No dining room? Okay. We ended outside with this on.
Right.
You know, with those proper little coats with fur in the hood. And it
Right.
just
Remember the Dilbert comics? I don't know if you remember Dilbert. He was like an office guy, a guy in an office. Anyway, it was
tell me.
it was a comic strip where everybody was standing outside the building on the ledge smoking, and it said smoking section, and they were standing out on the ledge.
There you go. That's what it was about. And I had respect. As a matter of fact, California was the first state to say you can't smoke at the bar and you can't smoke inside the restaurant. Do you remember that? It was
Yes.
infamous, California.
Yes. Then it came to New York. I remember.
My mother was furious. I will not sit at this bar. She was outside the restaurant under the sign in the restaurant. Smoking a cigarette. I said, Ma, it's easier to sit at the bar. No, I won't, you know. It's for smokers. That was the
Right.
first kind of
Funny, you can't smoke inside and you can't drink outside. So it
Yeah.
was one or the other.
Yeah.
Well, Larry Hagman, from Dallas, he used to put a fan on his table in a restaurant and blow the smoke back. To the
I
smoking
know.
section.
Oh, yeah. He was so against it. Larry was so against it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I loved Larry Hagman. He was so smart and so funny. God, he was great. He'd put on a funny hat, like, I don't know, something from the 1600s that looked like a soldier. And he'd take the kids down the beach, like with the flag, and he would parade down the beach in Malibu with about 8 kids behind him, and took this walk and would sing to them. And I stood out on his terrace with his wife, and watched this go down and said, he's 1 in a million, It was such a great thing to see. And those kids behaved him. They did everything he said.
Yeah.
He was a great gentleman.
Great actor too.
Larry, I think Laurence Olivier came to his door once and rang the bell, coming to see the house to see about renting it. And he came in a Persian hat, Persian soldier with the point on the, I don't know. I never saw a hat like this. It was a warrior's hat. And he came and he opened the door and he knew Laurence Olivier was coming. And Laurence Olivier said, "Good morning. Well, you don't frighten me." Good for Larry.
I love it.
Because it was pretty frightening. But
Right.
he was an imaginative, creative gentleman. He was wonderful.
That's great. So you were born in Brooklyn, and oh my God, you shocked me when you told me what hospital you were born in, because we were both born in the same hospital, Wyckoff Heights Hospital.
Absolutely.
That's wonderful. Yeah, my family came from Ridgewood, your family too. But then you guys soon moved to Texas. So you really
Yeah.
didn't have any memory of being in Brooklyn because you were too young, right? But then you
Too
moved back.
young. Yeah, too young to remember. I remember nothing.
Yeah.
Up
What was-
that time with the family.
Right.
Everybody lived in Brooklyn. A lot of Italians moved to Sweden, to Texas. You never heard about them. They were like, almost disgraced people that they left Brooklyn.
They left
you
Brooklyn. Yeah.
But my father did. He had to. That was in the 40s. It was very difficult for a
Yeah.
young man who graduated from NYU with a law degree, corporate law, and to get a job, a proper job, was hard.
Yeah.
And so there were cousins in Dallas. "Come on down here, Mario. We'll set you up in something. Don't you worry about it." And there
Right.
was in the 40s, for God's sakes, when someone came in to sit down to eat, they had on boots, have cowboys, real cowboys. "I want some steak, tater, and tea." And my mother eventually turned around and said to my father, because they had this little restaurant they started, and Benny Messina was in the restaurant business. So he, of course, after a while, when my father couldn't get anything else, he succumbed to doing a little small restaurant. And the guy came in and he looked at my mother, it was a little counter, and he said, "I want a steak, some tater, and tea." And my mother went, "I'm sorry?" "Steak, tater, and tea." And she went, "Mario?" They couldn't understand that.
No, not at all.
God, no.
Well,
But anyway,
they tell us we have an accent in Brooklyn, but we believe everyone else is the ones with the accents.
yes, it's true. It's true. Well, I like the accent better in Brooklyn than I did in Texas.
Yeah.
Because there was just something. Brenda, how are you? How is are you still in your acting career? I would go, "Please, God, tell me what to answer. Please, God, get me out of here."
So you grew up there, went to grade school, went to high school. When did you decide that you wanted to get into acting?
Well, I'll tell you what, I was climbing up on a chair to my mother's mother, Nanetta, who didn't speak English, and making faces in the mirror and doing, I don't know what, they just tell me that I was animated and I was busy in the mirror all the time. So my father said, "Christine, let's just hope she can bow out gracefully." And when I said, "I want to be an actress," to my father, I thought he was going to fall off the chair. He said, it was interesting because he was right. They're always right, aren't they? Always right.
Yes.
And he said, "Brenda, how can you give up 4 years of the last of the true full freedom you'll ever have? And then you walk away with a lot of knowledge under your belt that nobody can take away from you. It's freedom. What are you doing turning it down?" And I said that line without having seen the movie that Michael Powell directed called "I Know Where I'm Going." I said, "Because I know where I'm going, Dad." And he
Wow.
went, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm going to New York to be on the stage." And he went, "Oh my God." Just like he wanted me in MIT, Harvard.
Yeah.
He couldn't believe that this was a choice. And he said, "Why has my daughter finally chosen the one thing that's going to be constantly disappointing her?" And I said, "I don't think so. I don't think I will be disappointed." He went, "Good. Go. Go, Lassie.
Good.
Go.
Go, Lassie. So yeah, you had his blessing.
Well, because I was a girl, I got called Lassie from time. But you know, it's true. Because I saw a woman once on the plane years and years and years ago, and she started talking to me, and she said, "That's my daughter over there." She said, "Look at her legs." I said, "Wow, those are Balanchine legs. They're so long. They're so beautiful." She said, "I'm taking her to ballet. She's only 7." I went, 7? She said, "I can't stop her from dancing." I said, "I think she knows where she's going."
Exactly.
Because sometimes children, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't stop them.
They're driven. They're
It's
driven.
meant to be. It's meant
Yes.
to be.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's how it was for me. I definitely wasn't going to college. And I definitely didn't have enough ass power to be called a scholar. You know, I had the gift of gab, but it's definitely not like my father. He said, "You have ass power." I said, "What's that?" "You don't have ass power." "What is that, Dad?" He said, "To study, Brenda, to read, to be a scholar." I said, "Nah."
Yeah.
It just wasn't there. Wasn't
Yeah.
there.
Not all of us are cut out to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I read. If he was alive, I'm sure he'd be happy to hear that.
That you're reading now. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's nice when we read because we want to read, you know,
That's right.
doing it for pleasure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Did you go to college?
I did not. No, I started my family young. I right out of high school, you know, back then out of high school, if you knew how to type, you had a job.
Yeah.
You didn't need a
True.
degree, you know, so this is back, you know, in the early 80s. So I, right out of high school, started working immediately in Manhattan, getting, you know,
Typing?
office jobs, typing.
See,
Typing,
that's one
answering
thing we
phones.
should remind the audience that they taught you to type in high school.
Yes, they did.
That was a class.
That's
and
right.
you couldn't turn that class down. That was so interesting because they don't have that class now.
No,
They
no, it's
don't
true.
have typewriters now.
No.
You know, so it's so interesting that you and I both, the first thing that's offered to you, do you type? Let me see you type, please.
You remember that?
I
Yes.
don't, please.
God, and I was never as fast as the other girls. They
No,
were like
that's right, me
60,
neither.
70. I was like 41 words a minute.
Yeah, right. I couldn't find the cues sometimes. It'd be,
Yeah, exactly. What
or
was
the
it?
arm.
The sly
My
fox
goodness.
jumped over the brown dog or cat or something. Do you remember
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
sentence that has every letter in the alphabet? The quick brown dog jumped over the sly fox or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I always was interested in acting. In fact, when I was little, I used to say, when I turn, it was real little, when I turn
You
18, I'm going to
see?
move in with the Brady Bunch. I used to say.
How great. No, you enjoyed it, right?
I loved it. And I
See how
loved
you-
anything that had to do with celebrities, Hollywood. My friends used to say, "Why do you talk like you know Elvis and Priscilla personally?" Because I would say, "Did you hear about what Elvis and Priscilla did? Like first name basis. Why do you talk like you know these celebrities personally?" You know,
You did.
I always had a love.
Yeah. And you did know them because they would let you
Yes.
know exactly as much
Yes.
as they wanted to. And I remember when I was with Michael Douglas, they used to say, "Well, tell us a few things. They don't have to be true." And I would say, "What? But why?" "Well, because, you know, the audience loves that. Your fans love that. You know, you went here, you did that." I thought it was awful. I couldn't do it because it wasn't honest.
No, but I love that. You were never caught up in a scandal. I found this on eBay. What do you think of this? Is that gorgeous?
Oh God, weren't we gorgeous?
Gorgeous.
He was such a beautiful colt. He was
Aw.
a beautiful guy. He really was.
So you
Nothing
met making that movie with him? That's how you met?
Summer Tree?
Yes.
Yeah, he chose me for that.
Oh, he
Every
did?
girl in town wanted to do it. Look at him. He was absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and he was fun to be with too. I had a lot of laughs with Michael. He's a gentleman.
Now, do you
He's-
stay in touch with any of your exes, like friends, or not really?
Yeah, you know, that's an interesting question because I believe in friendship. And I think that friendship is one of the greatest things that we experience as human beings, you know. And so yes, some no, depending on the kind of relationship that it was.
Right.
You know,
And you're
so,
married, so, you know.
yeah, yeah. But I think the interesting thing about marriage is that it changes. And if you don't flow and glow with the changes, it doesn't last. And you're also,
Good
you
point.
know, kicking the shit out of the friendship. And sometimes it's not easy to go back and capture it, you
Yeah.
know. But
Yeah, so true. It's the person you wanted to be with the most. Now they're the ones you want to be with the least.
yeah, it's odd.
Yes. Wow.
But
So Midnight Cowboy, can you tell us how you got into that movie and tell us about that scene with John Boyd?
I auditioned, I think, like 4 or 5 times for John Schlesinger. And finally, I got a call from my agent saying, I'm sorry to say this. I said, no. And he said, Brenda, he's got John Boyd there. You've got to go in. I went, yes. Because I knew this was the ultimate audition. Okay.
Right.
And I think Janice Mars, do you remember Janice Mars?
I don't.
She's a wonderful actress. Look her up
Okay.
later on. She was up for it. She also had a very sensual presence and a gorgeous voice. She married Ben Gazzara.
Oh, wow. Oh, I love it.
She was a potent actress. She was really quite wonderful. Anyway, I went in and I read with John Boyd. We read 5 times. John Schlesinger took his time, I must say. You know, and then I heard that I got the part and I went, oh my God, Jesus. But then I had to have to do a scene nude. And I thought, what does that mean? The bed scene. I went, oh no.
Oh, boy.
My mother can't see my tits before my face in my first movie. I cannot. And I told Ann Roth this, who I adore, Ann Roth, the costume designer,
Yes.
who is so brilliant.
She is brilliant.
She really creates the character for you. I could talk hours about her. She's brilliant. And she said, don't worry, we're going to fix it. And this was her first film. And I said, Annie, I have to tell you, my mother, Christy, is going to have a nervous breakdown. I'm going to fix it. Well, she was coming home one night. She lived in Pennsylvania. This is so cute. And she was coming out of a drugstore or something. It was so many years ago, 69, 70. Whoa.
Wow.
And a guy's got his trunk open, and inside there are all these furs. So she went over to him. This is a true story. And she said to him, listen, you see that red fox over there? And he goes, what do you want? What is it? So she said, I wonder, would you sell that to me? And he said, for how much? She said, 250. Yeah, take it. Obviously, he'd stolen these furs.
Yes.
I don't know what he was going to do. So she goes in and she pulls it out. And that was the furs she brought in for me to wear in the scene.
I know. Scribbage.
Shit. Now look at this here, see?
There's an E in money. I mean, if that's your word.
M-O-N-Y. That's just exactly how you spell it up there in that big building up there. M-O-N-Y, money.
Huh?
Why? What in the hell starts with why?
Well, it can end in Y. Like, say, pay, lay, hey, pay, lay.
Okay, cut it out now. That's enough. You're teasing me so I can't think.
Ingenious.
And so when Schlesinger saw me walk in on the set, the first day, he went, Annie, absolutely brilliant. Fucked in Fox. He was so happy. He was just thought it was so brilliant, which it was. It absolutely was. For the character, for the scene, it protected me. John Voight
Yes.
loved it. Everybody, Adam hollered and went, oh my God, it's fabulous. She kept it a secret. And then I walked in with it.
Yeah.
So was I a lucky girl that day? Yes, I was.
Yes. Oh, most definitely.
Yeah. And that coat, it ended up in her closet. Well deserved, Miss Roth. Well deserved.
And she's been your fashion designer ever since, right?
Ever. Well, she was for quite a while. She stayed with me in California and lived in my house. It was hers as much as it was mine. And I just loved her when she went out at night, what she was wearing. And once I had this sequin coat that came from Holly's Harp, which was this wonderful store at Sunset Boulevard. And she had it on, like crisscrossed with a belt. Talk about what they're wearing today. You know, I mean, that was so perfect. She is a beauty. And she's I couldn't do a film without her. I did Sarah, which was a television series that Universal allowed me to do. And she created the character.
I remember that.
She literally said, you're going to wear a frock coat, you're going to have a man's hat, man's boots, and you're not going to ride side saddle. And she's going to cut your hair. My hair was, I said, huh? You're going to cut it and have it permed so that it's, I thought, who is this, Annie? She said, you'll find her. And indeed I did, you see, because it was a liberated woman of her time. When her brothers got all the money because her father in Philadelphia died, she saw an ad in the paper that said a teacher was wanted in the West, in this small town. She took the job, even though she wasn't a teacher. So she literally left Philadelphia, you know, and the submerging of what her life would have been with no money and her brothers telling her what to do. So Annie knew how to dress her. It was an incredible experience. I love her. I think she's #1 lady in this business.
Yeah. I tell
There
you,
was an issue that came up that they weren't being paid as much as male costumers. And I wrote a long letter.
good.
I
There was
wrote
a lot of
long-
that going on back then. Even
No,
with the
now.
actors.
I
You talking
wrote
about recently?
4 months, 5 months ago.
What?
Furious. And named all the Emma Portillas, everybody I worked with. They were down on the list.
Wow.
You know, I mean, without some of these ladies, there was no way to do your part. I know that sounds strange because really the art is within you. You have to create the character. But without the correct costumer, you will not get it.
Right.
It won't go over the fence like a horse in the right, the right jump.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But Miss Roth is truly a genius. Yeah.
So your friend of mine knows her and said, "Oh, you got to interview her." I
Who,
can
Ann
get
Roth?
her. Yes.
You have to. Oh, she's fabulous.
I
and
would
she's
love to
fun.
have the both of you on together. That would be
Oh,
awesome.
I know. I love her. I love her.
We're trying. We're trying
She's
to reach
such a good friend. Try. Have you called her? Have you written her?
I'm waiting on contact information. As soon as I get that.
Do you know what? My father always said, Brenda, never stop writing letters. I said, why, Dad? Because as you get older, you get better at it. And one day, my dear, it may serve you well. Write her a letter.
Great
Do you know with
advice.
a letter, you got to hold it, right? It's not a
That's
phone
right.
call. It's not a conversation. It's not a conversation. You got to hold it and it makes you still. And then you read it and somehow the absorption of a letter can have a lot of an impact more than anything else. Sometimes you win it, sometimes you don't.
That's
But
right.
meanwhile, yeah, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Right.
I wrote a letter to Clint Eastwood. I wanted to play the mother in that Hilary Swank film that she did with him, and he never answered it. And that was okay, because I saw who he hired, and she was right for it more than I was.
Okay.
It's okay that he didn't answer it.
Right.
One time he walked by my trailer and I was sitting there with my feet hanging out in some kind of other movie. I don't remember. And as he passed by, he took my toe and tweaked it and walked on. So he answered it.
There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he answered it. But I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? It's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, your whole life. I mean, what a journey. What a journey. And you've worked
It's
with.
been good.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
Do
joyous.
you have any
about it.
favorites? I know you shouldn't ask favorites, but if you had to do, another role with one of your former co-stars? Who would it be? Male-wise.
I'll tell you, Barry Levinson was the best director I ever worked with. I adored him.
Yeah.
He was a part of you. Do you know what I mean? That's a
Really?
strange thing to say about a director. But Al Pacino, and you don't know Jack. He called me at night. He said, I'm downstairs. We were in Flint, Michigan. We were going to shoot the scene where the two of them argued. I actually had found that they didn't talk for 6 months after this argument. It had to do with her daughter.
Okay.
She checked where the cops followed who he was, found out where he was. So there was a rift between Dr. Kevorkian and his sister. And then 6 months later, she died.
Oh, no.
So anyway, they said, we got to do this scene. And it was in the hamburger joint. I forget the name of it. In Flint, Michigan. We shot it there. And Al told me the night before, he said, this scene is thin. It's thin. I said, yeah. You want to come down and rehearse it? He was in the bar. I said, Al, it's 10:30. I mean, what do you,
Right.
I'm having a steak and a potato. I said, okay. Well, I was in my nightgown. I got dressed. I came down there. We started to rehearse it. Before you know it, everybody at the bar was like,
Wow.
he said, Al, he went, see you in the morning. Anyway, in the morning, we're holding the script, right? And he said, this script is thin. I said, I know. He said, you want to do it without the script? I went, what? He said, let's just wing it. Let's go. You ready? I said, yeah, okay. And I've never never done this before in my life, I'll have you know. So we both threw the script. He went on, said his lines. I came in and said, and then it was like being on a magic Persian rug going in the sky, and you just let go. You don't know where you're going. And that's once in a lifetime, sometimes with an artist. And we just took this flight together. Barry never stopped it, Barry. Watched it, Barry shot it, and he printed it.
Wow, that's great.
And that has been history, cinematic history for me and Al.
Wow.
The thing turned out, all I could hear was my Aunt Marge in my head saying, what about me? What about me? You know what I mean? And
Yes. Well, that was
I
some
remember
performance.
that,
Yeah.
and then I just remember that scene. And after it was over, Al said, that was cinematic history. And I said, okay, honey. And he said, wow.
Please tell me what it is your daughter has in her brain that won't let her accept the fact that you can pay a bill with cash.
Please.
Cash. But
I
one
did.
thing, what you don't do is pay with a check. You don't pay bills with a check.
We understand.
Why, my dear girl? Because bills paid by check leave a paper trail. A paper trail is something someone can follow. And just so you know, what I predicted has come true. The cops traced.
The cops?
They traced it to my storage file. They broke in and they took whatever, who knows, all my personal files to do God knows what with. And now they padlocked it.
All right.
So I can't get in.
I'm sorry about it, Jack. I'm sorry.
You're sorry?
I'm sorry it happened. No one would expect this to happen. And Mr. Fiker can get everything back for you again.
Mr.
So
Fiker's
just
gonna
calm
do it.
down. I have explained to you.
Nobody's
There
going to
was-
put Humpty Dumpty together again. Do you understand? He is gone. He is finished. They have my files.
I'm sorry about that. There was an overdue bill, and
That's right.
Ava said the check in. She just wasn't thinking.
She wasn't thinking. Wasn't thinking.
That's
You're being so
right.
generous. It was stupid. It was blatant stupidity
All
on
right,
her part
keep your
and your
voice
part.
down and-
Stupid.
Hold on
She was
there.
being stupid.
I want
stupid.
you to shut up. Don't you
Stupid.
talk about my daughter that way.
I'll talk
Do you
about
hear
her
me?
that
And
way.
you calm down now. Stop
I
it.
am completely
Calm
calm.
down. You're not
Completely
calm.
No,
Jack,
I can't trust you. I can't trust you, and I can't trust
me.
her. Either one of you. Together, you don't make it easy for me. You're supposed to make it easy for me, but you don't.
How dare you, Jack?
You did
How
this for the
dare
last
you?
time. I'm telling you, for the last time
all
you've
my
done
life,
this.
I've been making it easier for you.
Yeah,
all my life, do you hear me?
Oh, like, look
and
who's
it's
yelling
been no
now.
walk in the park. That's right, it's been no walk in the park.
no
And
walk
I'm
in
going
the
to
park.
tell you something else. Nobody takes care of me. I want to ask you, who do you think takes care of me?
I'm gonna take
Nobody,
care of
not
you.
you, Jack.
I'm gonna
Certainly
take care of
not you.
Right now, I'm going to take care of you. From now on, all you're going to do is operate the camera. That'll take care of you. Believe me. You'll be fine with that because you can't screw that up.
Okay, is that what you think? Is that
And
what you
as for
think?
your daughter,
I
you
have
know,
news for you.
as for
You'll
your
be
daughter,
doing
the
it for
jury's
yourself.
out
You
on
do
her.
it for yourself, Jack. You're gonna do it. How's that for news? You'll do it, Jack.
Fine
I'm
by
through
me.
with it.
Fine by me.
I'm through with you. I'm through with it.
Go ahead, set the alarm. Who cares? Yeah. Is this us? Yeah. Set that off. Where the hell is she going?
So, I mean, you can't have a better time with an actor than that.
Yeah.
Or with a director who lets you go. Lets you go like that, doesn't say, what are they doing? Stop.
Right.
So, he didn't cut a goddamn thing. He printed it and used it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never had a director so solidly confident in his actors. He was a joy to work with. But it's been a lot of fun with I've just had the best time ever. I'm joyous about my life. I think I've been so lucky and I'm so happy.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Poor dad. Poor
You
dad.
go to MIT, but you're reading books now.
I think he would write, but I think he would be proud of me if he sees
Oh,
it.
most definitely.